What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I wasn't sure if I was going to actually make another video this year, but it's middle of November right now. It's a little bit windy. Apologize if there's any wind noise in the mic. But it's like 70 degrees today. I got shorts on. You can tell these tennis shoes are about end of life. I just like to use old tennis shoes after the year. When I've completely destroyed them, I just throw them away. But could not miss the opportunity to be out here and do a little bit of yard work on a nice day here in mid-November. I cannot believe it's 70 degrees. Tomorrow's going to be like 45 degrees and rainy, and then it's going to completely drop off from that point. So today, what we're going to do is I've got some leaves to clean up. Not too bad. I've been cleaning up quite a few leaves more recently. This massive tree behind me, this maple, drops a lot of leaves. And these bags are from yesterday. So you can see how much we have to clean up leaves around here. So growth has slowed significantly. I think I've probably got my final mow with the reel mower of the year done already. And as far as color, the lawn looks fantastic. Really, from this point on, if you know what I'm talking about, if you live in a mature neighborhood with lots of big trees, leaf cleanup in the fall is kind of a never-ending battle. So this is usually how it goes through, I don't know, probably January at some point, until all the big oaks are done dropping their leaves, and even into spring sometimes they still drop their leaves. So we're going to get out the rotary mower today, and we're just going to clean up some of these leaves, maybe give this a little bit of stripage. Stripes are looking pretty good right now, but I think we can maybe stripe them a little bit harder. Generally the stripes will usually stay through all through winter until the lawn wakes up again in the spring. So let's get out and clean these leaves up. Alright, so that was quick and looks beautiful. Beautiful stripes. That's really what I'm looking for. And no leaves. Like I said, it's an ongoing battle with leaves in the Midwest, especially in fall. This will be a journey that we have throughout the winter, but sometimes you got to get out the rotary and clean things up. I actually really like getting the rotary mower out and using it to clean up, you know, things that are kind of in the canopy of the grass. It does a good job at just kind of pulling and using it as almost like a vacuum to suck up all the debris that's down in the grass before it goes dormant. Definitely like the rotary for using that as well. But some other things to do leading up into winter, you know, I've already shut down my irrigation system for the year so far, and it is a little bit warmer. If it wasn't going to rain tonight, I would probably hook up an impact sprinkler and give the water or the lawn a little bit of water every once in a while, especially if things are pretty dry. You really don't want the lawn to be completely dried out going into winter. Something else I felt compelled to touch up on too in this video, since I didn't do a whole lot of update videos this year, I had a few people reach out and ask me how the lawn recovered from summer, especially along the sidewalks. And if you can see behind me, my lawn is about 99% filled in from some of the problem areas I had earlier this year. I mean, overall, I really have no complaints about how well the lawn rebounded after summer, sometime around the end of August. I went and ordered a bunch of masonry sand to go ahead and top dress this lawn with to help it recover. It recovered really quickly after that. I gave it a good shot of nitrogen in September, which is generally the best month coming out of summer for growing conditions, at about 100% growth potential in September. And then again, last month I went ahead and did my final application for the year, my winterizer application. And a couple people had some questions about that video that I did about applying the UMAX with the ammonium sulfate. and there was some concern about whether that was going to burn my lawn. I think I could have probably explained in that video why I used the UMax with the ammonium sulfate the way that I did, and it's all because the UMax is designed to be applied in that way. It's a 100% urea product. It's 4600 analysis, but it is a controlled release urea that is essentially it's designed to protect from volatilization and nitrification loss, and so you can apply it in 1 pound at a time through a sprayer, and you don't have to worry about losing nitrogen, especially if you're applying in the fall. And it's going to give you about a duration 90, which means it's going to continue to feed for the next 90 days. And a lot of that is dependent on the weather, but nitrogen stabilization in the fall is better than it is when it's really hot. So if that's something you want to use, you can apply a pound of nitrogen with the UMax. It's not going to burn your lawn. It's going to give you about a 90-day feed. And if you want to add a little bit of ammonium sulfate like I did for a fast release, ammonium sulfate is a 100% fast release product. You do need to water that in, or else it will burn the leaf blade if you don't. When I made that application last month, I did water in. I ran my irrigation system for about 20 minutes, which gives me just under probably a 1/4 inch of water. I watered that in, everything was fine, lawn looks great, got my entire winterizer application done in one single application. I'm gonna walk across the street, talk about another little project I help my neighbors with. In this neighborhood, we have a really bad issue with Bermuda infestation. Wild Bermuda comes up from some of the older lots that are down at the end of the street, and they work their way down the block here. And I don't have any wild Bermuda in my lawn or the house next to me. Every other house or property in this neighborhood tends to have it. But this is a section right here, essentially from this sidewalk in this area here, all the way to where you can see where there's a little bit of dormant Bermuda there in this lawn. This was predominantly Bermuda. And now what we did over here is my neighbors decided to go ahead and purchase a bottle of Pylex. Pylex is designed to remove the Bermuda from existing cool season turf, like turf type tall fescue. There was a little bit of fescue left in this area, so I decided to go ahead and leave that there. But throughout the year, about a 3-week interval, I was applying the Pylex at a very low rate and essentially wiping out the Bermuda that was here. I went and renovated with a Barrenbrug rhizomatous tall fescue. That's the RTF they sent me to try out in about 1,000 square foot area. And I really think the RTF turned out really nice. It's got a really dark color. This lawn is professionally managed by a company, but overall, I'd say about 90% of the Bermuda is been removed from this area. This will be another process next year. We're gonna have to do it again. It could take up to 3 years to get the Bermuda out completely, but after year 1, I think the results are pretty good. The battle is gonna be keeping it out even into next year, so we'll keep an eye on that, and I'll give you some updates next year as we continue to go through the process. And just like that, it is cold again. No more 70-degree days. I'm doing my least favorite job here in the backyard, is blowing, raking, and bagging up leaves. But what I wanted to talk about is how the backyard looked. Doing an update from the previous video where I did the pre-germinated seed. Got a lot of good feedback on that video. I'm going to take a look at this area is where I did the regenerate tall fescue. In the pre-germinated video that I did where we got the seed going in the water. Color looks great. Everything looks really good. And then on the other half of the hill, on this side, this was all 4th Millennium and Traverse 2. No, 4th Millennium and Titanium 2LS from Mountain View Seed. Came in really nice. Backyard looks fantastic. Very happy with the way things turned out. In the backyard, essentially what I did to winterize back here for my last application of the year. Same thing I did in the front yard with the UMAX and the ammonium sulfate. What I forgot to mention before is that I did put some feature in there as well. That's the 600 with the 10% iron. And it speaks for itself. No burnt grass, everything looks great. Just make sure you water that in. At some point before the year is over, I do plan on doing an equipment review one last time from the end of the year. I do have an Ego and a Toro battery powered blower. I'm going to compare that with a handheld gas blower. Some people prefer gas, some people prefer battery. I'll be talking and comparing those pieces of equipment on just my use case here on my lawn, 6,000 square feet of maintaining my lawn here with the leaves. And so the last thing I'll say in closing on this video, since we are done applying fertilizers, pretty much done mowing for the year, unless I'm going to be bagging leaves with the rotary mower, is overall I'm very happy with the results and the outcomes that I got from my plan going into this year of focusing mainly on inputs with two things, with ammonium sulfate, nitrogen, sulfate of potash, and then some micronutrients throughout the year, just kind of built into that program. And so mainly, I mean, the best advice I can give anybody is to stick with it. Trust the process. If you've done your research and you know what you need to do as far as your inputs that you've determined that you're going to do based on soil test results, fixing your pH is a big one. But once you have those things in line and you begin dialing down on your inputs, you will have great results. And I'm very happy with the results that I have here not only in my backyard and the front yard, although we did have some challenges there during the summer with the bluegrass. I'm probably going to change a couple things with my approach from some cultural practices going into next year to help the bluegrass a little bit more next summer. And if things don't go so well, probably maybe look at some other options. It is important to plant the right grass in the right place. Very few people where I live in the transition zone anymore have Kentucky bluegrass lawns for that very reason. So in closing, the way it responded to the bounce back, the sand top dressing, the lower temperatures, a little bit more rain, I'm very happy with it all. So the backyard was a big initiative of mine this year. I told my wife this is going to be the year that we're going to get the backyard turned around after all of the major construction projects back here. The trees coming down, it was completely tore up, 1,000% better than it looked earlier this spring. So very happy with that. And as far as that type of content for fertilizing, mowing, anything like that, that's going to do it for me this year. I appreciate everybody who follows me, not only on YouTube, but also Instagram, comments, likes the videos, dislikes the videos. I enjoy that as well. In closing the year, just under 2,000 subscribers, so very appreciative for that. I didn't think there'd be a point where I really would have that many subscribers that followed my content, so I appreciate everyone that does stick around and shows me that support. I'm very grateful for that, so I wanted to thank you all for following along, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Hopper. Hey, buddy. Talking to the camera.